It's so challenging to our psyches as human beings that there are still today in 2018 people enslaving and abusing and torturing other human beings for profit. People get comfortable in the world in which they live, and hearing about that can be overwhelming, and so they tend to stay away from it.
Girls who are here, some of them are single mothers, they can't look after their children, and they can't find a living in this country. So they become vulnerable to the groups. Say they promise them jobs, they take them to the Middle East or elsewhere, their passport is taken away, they have no money, they have no food. So these people, you employ them like slaves. I shouldn't use the word employs them, they use them as slaves.
So that evening, phone calls were coming in, and this came to my notice that they were ordering us. They were putting us on order, like pressing men were pressing orders like, I want the one with big boobs, I want the one with big booty, I want the one slim or fat. So the men came in, they put us in a van and then they delivered us like packages. Our hope was finished. We had nowhere to go, we had no passport, and they were scaring us, if you ever walk out of this place and go, we are going to throw you in the desert and kill you from there. Your family will never even know your way out.
I think people have an innate desire for it not to be true, that people are enslaving human beings. We get asked the prevalence question all the time, how big is the problem, how big is the problem? And I think what belies that question is a disbelief in the magnitude of it.
The International Labor Organization estimates that traffickers annually rake in over $150 billion a year in profits. That's more than the annual profits of Exxon, Samsung, Apple, and BP combined. Trafficking is big business.
92% or 93% of all trafficking is happening in the developing world.
The world must worry and solutions must be found. It's not enough for European countries, the United States, to shut their borders. It's not enough.
Uganda is important in fighting human trafficking because it is acting as an example to the neighboring East African countries. Regionally, Uganda and Kenya are the ones which are trying their best to see that trafficking in East Africa comes to an end.
Uganda is one of the most stable countries in East Africa, and it's poised, I believe, to become a regional, if not continental, leader in the anti-trafficking fight.
But you see, when you have a problem, someone helps you even to start. And so Willow's organization comes in and helps us to identify the problem and start thinking on how to address it.
Willow International partners with organizations and governments all over the world to coordinate the rescue of victims of human trafficking. We get referrals from government agencies, international agencies, and other nonprofits who work on the ground in countries to ensure that victims are rescued from situations of trafficking, taken back home, and given the services that they need to heal and be reintegrated with families. By focusing our efforts here, we are leveraging resources and impact to create change on the global issue of human trafficking. In Uganda, we formed a coalition of nonprofit organizations so that each organization could focus on their expertise and have the greatest collective impact.
The reason that we need coalitions to decimate this problem is that then we get multiple views of what the problem is. Any one organization is only going to ever see one piece of the problem and is only going to be able to respond in one aspect of the solution. And if you get everybody around the table, you start seeing aspects of the problem that you never saw before. So this complex issue requires a very diverse and multi-sector response.
And it's about relationships so that the governmental and the non-governmental organizations work together. Police, prosecutors, and victim service providers as well, have them all partner together and come to training together so that they can then become a team. They have different functions and different roles, but they all have the same goal, and that's the rescue of enslaved human beings and the conviction of people who are doing the enslaving.
We provide therapeutic aftercare services to victims of human trafficking. And what this looks like is holistic care. Access to health care, residential services, psychosocial support through counseling, reintegration services with family, and help getting back on their feet, whether that's through an educational scholarship, access to a job, or provision of capital to start up a business. And our programs work. The survivors, despite all that they have gone through, send their kids to school, buy their own houses, get full-time jobs, or start their own businesses, and go on to lead full, healthy lives.
During the last 15 years that I've been working full-time in the human trafficking space, I have seen a lot of service-providing nonprofit organizations. And there are a few that I have been impressed with as much as Willow. I have been to Willow's sites, I have seen their facilities, I have met the individuals that work there and the individuals whom they care for. It is amazing. It is a place of hope, it is a place of joy, it is a place of healing.